Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The Scale Model Podcast is currently recorded bi-weekly and is available where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, as well as our website at www.scalemodelpodcast.com. Let us know if you have any comments or suggestions at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com or at our Facebook page at facebook.com/Scale Model Podcast. We also publish extra video content on our YouTube channel, and we also have a Patreon page at patreon.com/Scale Model Podcast. The money raised will be used to help offset web hosting and other costs. As the podcast grows, we hope to introduce giveaway and other bonuses to our Patreon supporters as a thank you for supporting the Scale Model Podcast. Welcome to episode 32 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Goodman Models. My name is Stuart Clark, and I am here as always in the deep dark recesses of Goodman Heavy Industries, bringing the future to you. I got to come up with a better one for that.
Oh, I like where this is going.
That? All right, and I'm here with Mr. Anthony Goodman.
Hi, Stuart. How are you?
Not bad. How are you tonight? You've been a busy lad.
Oh, yeah.
You were on the road last week
Yep.
and all sorts of stuff. So
Yes.
awesome. So we got lots of stuff tonight, but first we're going to give a shout out to our latest Patreon supporter.
Yes.
And you know this person, so I'm
Yes.
going to let you mention.
I'm 99.9% sure that this is Terry Mizell.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, I hope that's how you say your last name. Thank you for the Patreon support. So Terry, I met, 10 years ago or more at Wonderfest.
All right.
And he had painted the coolest models. And I was like, who painted this model? I must find him. And it was, let me just think back. It was like, he had sort of scratch built this creation where it was made out of like a German World War II fighter, but it was made into like a spaceship sub-type thing with this beautiful like kind of blue underwater scheme.
Cool.
It was awesome. And I was like, man, how did you paint that? And then he also had a really beautiful VF, the Lightning 4G. He had the resin kit done up. It was really awesome. Nice. And that was before the classic kit had come out. But anyway, he's a great guy. And I was remiss when I was talking about Wonderfest a number of episodes ago and how great it is and how much fun there is to have. I forgot to mention all the cool seminars that you can go to if you are planning a trip down to Wonderfest.
Nice.
And Terry did remind me of that. Now, Terry gave a really cool presentation the last time I went on figure painting, and it was really good. It was well attended, and I actually took photos for him. And my Facebook profile is from that session. But thanks for the support, Terry. Awesome modeler. It's great to have you on board there.
And as we say, you can also participate as well. And we have something special for our Patreon followers. We're going to mention that a little bit later. But let's get right on to it. We had a ton of listener mail last week.
Yes.
So the first one here came via Facebook from Brandon Walters. And he says, Anthony, you made some offhand comment about how you cannot build as fast as the On the Bench crew. And that's, of course, our good friends in Australia.
It's too true.
Which they seem to just be able to pump them out. And good stuff,
flying.
Too. But worry not. By coincidence, I did a poll on the Scale Aircraft Facebook page, and the rate of which people build is slower than you think. So I threw up the link, and it's basically the majority of people, 1 to 3 per year. In some ways, it doesn't surprise me. I look at my own local IPMS chapter, and I shouldn't laugh because I'm about on that. I think I've just finished number 2.
This is like the scourge of the model hobby, man.
Some people seem to do a lot now. So it was a very unscientific poll,
it stresses me out.
But they had how many kits do you complete? And so in this poll, 1 to 3, 101 votes, 4 to 6, 67, 0 was 28, and 10 plus was 24. Oh. And 7 to 10 was guys. 8. Yeah, so there is people that, and again, everyone's different.
It is. It's true, right? Yeah. I remember having so Brandon also commented that he manages three kits per year, and I thought, oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I got that. I'd be super happy.
I think it depends what you're building too, right? Or sometimes if you've got that mega project, that it's going to take you a long time. Like look at your Aliens APC.
Yeah. Now that was quick. So I started that the night we got back from Heritage Con, which we went to together. Right. That was late March.
Yeah, that's true. So you have been
And I finished it within the same calendar year.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's a record.
Okay, is that a record for you?
Yes.
Okay.
So that, I don't know, how many months are we?
6 months.
6 months. That's pretty good. And
That's
there was
not
a
bad.
lot into that project.
Yeah, there was.
I'm a lot like Ian that I can't just build it out of the box. Like
I know, you gotta...
I say that I'll just do it just so it's fast.
No, you never
and then
do.
And it just I need to fix that, or I should do this with it because it's sort of asking for something.
Yep.
Like the Aliens kit in particular was.
Yep.
It needed to be lit because it's basically a box.
Uh-huh.
So like, well, it's so easy. It's just a box. This is where I'll try out all the lighting stuff, and then. Of course, it was not easy, and then I did all the lighting, and that was a whole learning curve. And thanks to my buddy Murray for setting me up with the knowledge on that. And
Right.
yeah, I would like to shoot for 4 or 5 a year.
Yeah, yeah, and it really depends, and that's what I'm kind of reevaluating. My thing right now is I've got at least 2. Well, I've got 4 that are on the shelf.
Yeah.
But I've got at least 2 I really want. One's the Spitfire I'm going to work on next.
And you've already spent a lot of time on that
Yeah,
one.
and
like
then I've got
you're into it.
Yeah, and then I've got this Hasegawa 1/72 scale Lancaster. And I just need to get my tailing gear.
Have you started it?
Oh yeah, started it. I went through the fiddly photo etch because I had tons of photo etch for it. So the cockpit
Clark.
and everything,
Yeah.
it's just So I'm at the point I'm ready to attach the engines and
Oh goodness.
it's getting there.
Yeah.
But again, we'll see what happens. I'm in a little bit of a sci-fi kick, I think,
Yeah.
coming up soon. So yeah, that was kind of cool. The next one, Jeff Costi, and this is an excellent clarification. Hi guys, enjoying the podcast. I'm listening to episode 30, the part where you talk about the 6 Wingnut Wings Albatross releases. Wingnut Wings did in fact release the decals previously. One, the D5A Bavarian sold out. Now none of the sheets are available separately. I suspect they had some decals to sell, so they repopped.
Could be.
Albert, yeah, and I remember
sense.
later on after record, I remember people talking about there's decal sheets, so makes sense.
Like sold separately by Wingnut Wings?
Yeah, because they have done that in the past.
That's cool. I think that's great.
That's cool. But no, we appreciate that. And like I said, guys, anytime anytime if there's some clarification, we'd be glad to know because it helps everyone. That's still a gorgeous looking release. You know someone's going to buy 30 of them. Some fool out there, some crazy guy.
They need to be shooting for 30 kits a year.
Who knows? Who knows? Okay, another clarification from Wayne Peters. Hi, guys. Listening to episode 31 where Stuart mentions Rumpel of the Bailey.
Yes.
The TV show actually wasn't Peter Ustinov. I don't know why I thought of that, but it was Leo McKim, which is true. Yeah, I don't know why. They kind of look similar. Love the podcast. Keep up the excellent work. So I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Always happy
You
to
can't
do
know it all the time, Stuart.
Apparently not. My wife tells me that too. Go figure. Okay, so I mentioned before Patreon giveaway.
Oh yeah, Patreon giveaway.
One of the things you were on the road.
Yes.
You went to a couple of shows and you ran into this gentleman named Sean.
Yeah, so our good buddies Murray and Steven, we piled into the car, we went to Cambridge, we picked up our buddy Will, and we went to the 2 shows happening in that region on the same day.
And we're not going to talk about that.
And we had a lot.
Actually, on the same days.
It was fun zipping around.
It was. I'm sure it was.
And,
I was busy with again, She Who Must Be Obeyed at her thing, and we had fun there. For the record,
you're being a good husband.
I was being a good spouse.
Excellent. Yeah. So we had a lot of fun actually, and we certainly packed in the modeling goodness.
Good.
And so I was happy to meet up with a fellow named Sean. And he is making really cool custom model tools, and he's doing standing sticks and caddies. And so we were chit-chatting because he had bought a set of super standing blocks, and he liked them, and he said, I want to do my own thing. And so he ended up, and he had something to show me. And he's made these standing sticks. They're 3D printed. Mm-hmm. So I find that fascinating.
Cool. Yep.
And they're different than the super standing blocks. They're not really kind of the same. They are a standing stick kind of thing.
Different sort of idea.
Yeah, they have a handle on it. We have so we ended up having 2 sets. Mm-hmm. One is a flat, like a flat rectangular. And we'll post some pictures.
Yeah.
And then the other one has a taper on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean's just starting out, and he's doing some different stuff. And he has a cool caddy where you can mount the different.
Yeah, and that's also 3D printed, and it spins around. And
how cool is that?
There is actually quite a lot of modeling stuff you can get now. Like I know someone's come up with a little stand to hold your testers extra thin, so it doesn't spill out, like similar to the similar to
Tamiya extra
Microsoft.
thin.
Yeah, Tamiya. Sorry.
Testers,
we're talking testers.
We got
later.
testers on the brain.
We got testers on the brain. We'll tell people why
Got
later.
kicked in the testers.
Okay then. Well, there goes the PG
the
rating. Anyway, no. So Sean was nice enough to ask for some feedback.
Yeah, and he gave us some samples. So
He gave us some samples.
Yeah.
So we actually,
what do you think?
well, feedback. I played with them a little bit.
Yeah.
They're really cool, especially the ones with the little taper thing. My only thing would be, now again, I've got larger hands. I would love, Sean, if you could maybe make the handle a little bit longer and taller. Taller and longer.
Yeah, just a bit more meat to grab on.
Yeah, but other than that, they worked very well. Double-sided tape on them. You can put whatever.
So we like that they're reusable.
Yep.
Right. You can, if once they're worn away or the tape starts to give, you can put your own double-sided tape on it and put on a different bit of sandpaper or change the grit. So that's cool.
Yep.
I was thinking I wish the taper could be a dead point, but then Stuart, you did point out.
Yeah, it's really tough
possible.
for 3D printed. No, you're going to break it off if
Yeah.
you do that.
That's not something you can get.
You know, if it was solid steel or something, even then you'd like cut yourself, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
You know,
Though I have lots of dangerous tools. I'm okay.
And like case in point, like
So far.
need we say more?
So yeah, Sean does have a Facebook page where you can check out his custom model tools.
Yeah.
And we've put the link there.
In the show notes. So it's facebook.com/Sean Thomas, SEAN Thomas 157.
Yeah.
And more importantly, we're gonna give away. We're gonna
give away these sample packs.
give away these sample packs. So I threw all the Patreon supporters into. Got everyone's number, tied a number to it, went to random.org and drew 2 at random.
Yeah. 2 big winners.
In front of our staff accountant, Mr. Sparkles, who assured everything was on the up and up. And who won?
Okay, our big winners are Mike Rubino and number 2, Renee Southmacat.
Well, there you go.
I think I got those right.
Anthony's going to reach out to you via an email.
Yes.
And we will arrange to get those out to you as soon as we can. So congratulations.
Very cool.
As I was saying, this is another advantage of being a Patreon supporter.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, and check out Sean's page. It's always good to have more
He's-
tools, right?
He's definitely looking for feedback and wants ideas, and it's a cool idea. There's so much different things being 3D printed now.
I think that's fascinating.
Oh,
right?
it is changing. We've talked about it before, but it is really changing the scope of the hobby.
Yes.
Definitely.
For sure.
Okay, we'll get on to our latest news. So, first news, there's a new podcast, modeling podcast, starting from England.
Yes.
So now we've got all 3 kind of quadrants of the world covered. We've got
3
North
quadrants.
America,
Missing Asia.
Australia, Asia. I'm counting Australia, Asia. I know. Well,
We'll have to see.
you find someone to do a Japanese podcast, and we'll
I
include
should
that.
go there and
You
do
should
a
go there and do that?
podcast.
Okay. I'm sure your wife will appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then, so we have our friends on the bench, and we have this new one. It's called the Scale Model Shed. And they've just started, and it's Dan, Graham, and Ivan. And once you listen to it, you'll recognize all 3 of them are actually very prolific modelers. I've chatted with all 3 of them over the years. At some of the various forums and stuff like that.
Awesome.
They've also got separate YouTube channels, and they're just basically starting. They're planning monthly shows, and their first one's been released, and I've enclosed the links there with the show notes. And they feature all about the Spitfire. This month.
Cool.
They're also promising that in between that they might have mini audio reviews. So Ivan's actually done his first one. I think he released it today or yesterday because they were talking about the better kit, so about the latest Tamiya 48 scale Spitfire.
Yeah.
So he's done a little bit of a review there. So
That's
again,
good to know that kind of stuff. Like, which kit should I get that's going to be the least amount of headaches?
So again, some really good discussion about the Spitfire. These guys all talking about different things. They've got what sort of kits would you keep or sell if you found something rare? Things like that. They also talked about shelf queens, what they have for their shelf queens, stuff like that. So again, I think it's going to be a good start. There'll be another one. We can have no shortage of fine quality podcasts. So we wish them all the best.
Absolutely.
And as I said, I'll throw a link on the show notes and the first episode's available. Okay, moving right along. We have, what do I have here? Oh yes, the Italeri. Italeri? Remember our friends in Australia.
Italeri.
Italeri.
I call it Italeri.
Tomatoes.
Something like that.
Something like that.
More like spaghetti sauce.
Yes.
Isn't
How's
it?
that, Ian and Julian and Dave?
Yeah, that was it. We did catch your chat about the different sort of variations and how people pronounce stuff.
We were quoted. So
yeah, and you know what? That you mentioned Mang. It's Mung,
Mung,
and we had that chat with Scott Hards of Hobby Japan.
Yeah, and
I feel like
surprised.
he's an authority.
Yeah, so
seeing as he sells their products,
we probably better go
Mung?
with that.
Yeah, and Italeri. I don't know. Is it Italeri? Italeri.
Tomato.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Anyway, the sauce.
Anyway, they have a very nice.
It's interesting.
They have a very nice preview. Our friends at the Modeling News, and we actually talked about this previously. They were releasing a 1/12 scale Alfa Romeo 8C 2300 Monza. This is like a classic.
It's like the 20s.
Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be released in November. 1/12 scale, 100% new mold.
Wow.
Yeah, basically 1931.
Oh, 31.
2.3 liter, 2336 cc engine. It was actually designed as a racing car, but actually also for road use. It was originally a straight 8-cylinder engine.
Wow.
And it was this engine was their primary racing engine from its introduction to 31 until its retirement in 39. So yeah, these are all the the various road courses, the Italian Grand Prix.
Oh, okay.
A very classic car from that era. It ran at the Monaco Grand Prix and stuff like that. So, one of these absolutely gorgeous kits. There's still a few real world examples out there.
Oh, really?
And they show some pictures here. But yeah, so 100% new mold, steerable wheels, realistic suspension, highly detailed engine, rubber tires, 300 plastic parts, 30 chrome plated parts, photo etch parts, some screws for construction, copper cables, and nylon net.
Is that everything you need?
Scale detail. Yeah, this looks absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not a car guy, but I have to admit this.
So this was driven by Tazio Nuvolari in the 31 and 32.
Yeah.
In the Monaco Grand Prix. That's cool.
Yeah, very, very, very famous.
If it's a V8, that's a beefy car.
Beast of a thing. Well, 1/12 scale is going to be pretty big.
I don't know, it said 8-cylinder. I don't know if that's a V8, but it is.
Or not a V8. Sorry, an 8-cylinder. It was a straight 8, not a V8. Sorry.
Yes.
But again, absolutely gorgeous.
It's pretty cool. I mean, these are very interesting vehicles, right? Like especially the early.
Yep.
The early racing.
These look just absolutely fabulous. So yeah, that's from Italeri, whatever you want to call it. The guys in Italy make kits.
I guess we're just going to have to interview them and find out exactly how it should be said.
Then we'll all be corrected.
We can look like professionals.
Well, we can look. Okay, Tamiya, November 2019. A couple of things they've got, as usual, a lot of RC stuff, but they've got a 48th scale Panther version D in 1/48th. They've got the 135th US self-propelled AA gun M42 Duster. Mm-hmm. They've got a 1/16th, you'll like this, 1/16th Airborne Sheridan. Now, this is display model, so I think that means pre-made.
Interesting.
Is that what that means normally?
I'm
trying to remember.
No battery? No, maybe
no,
expected
this
to have
static models. So, and then a 1/700th Battle of Malaya set with background pamphlet. So that'll be a couple of ships, all in 1/700th scale, with some aircraft and stuff like that available. And then if we also look, they've got a little modeling template, which has various, looks like it's going to be in like metal, modeling template rounded rectangles, 1 to 6 millimeters. So I think that's what we call ovals, if you look there. And they've got a brand new color of their standard acrylic paint, the Yokosuka Arsenal, and that was a very famous shipyard. Yeah, that was a shipyard just south of Tokyo.
Yeah, that's where the American air bases, right?
Yeah, it's where exactly where it is now.
Yokosuka.
So XF91, and it's a unique gray, I guess, to match the ships that came out of there.
That's pretty
Imperial
cool.
Japanese Navy gray. So brand new. XF91, you don't have it yet.
I don't.
You'll
Mine
have
only
to,
goes up to 84, I think.
You better get your tailing gear. There's a lot of new colors,
That's awesome.
Holy cow! Anthony's Tamiya collection is incomplete, folks.
It is have a few holes in it, but that's cool.
Right.
Oh, I like
okay, so I saw this one, and of course I immediately let Ian know. Revell, in the just like Airfix did the special edition bomber with Lemmy and the boys. This is from the 35th anniversary of Iron Maiden. God, I'm old. From a very famous album, Aces High, 35th anniversary, the Spitfire Mark II. This is going to be a 1/32 Spitfire, but more importantly, it's going to have two of the characters from the album art. Two little skeleton, the pilot.
It's Eddie. Eddie's their mascot.
Eddie's their mascot.
Skeleton guy.
So it's going to have that. So this is based on the 2014 mold, so it's a new tool.
Is it?
And yep. It's based, like I said, the mold was done in 2014.
Okay.
So this has some new parts.
The figures must be the new bits.
Yeah, basically, and probably the insignia and all that. So yeah, for those of you who are Iron Maiden fans, I listen to them. I wouldn't say I'm a fan.
I had their first album.
Yeah, it's like God.
It's very punky.
35 years ago.
Yeah,
we're old. So anyway, that's going to be available, and a lot of people have been yapping about that. So it's
that's
nostalgia.
Two different companies got the licensing for that.
But what did I say? Nostalgia. Look at all like the KISS truck, the transport trucks that have. Yeah. There's a market there.
That's not the first
for
time
certain.
I've seen that stuff.
No, but it's interesting. We're seeing some other stuff like that now. So
yeah.
So yeah, it'll be kind of interesting. Okay, I did some other searching around the net, and from TrackLink, because I like my World War I and goofy looking tanks. So RPM's releasing a Renault FT with Girard turret in 1/35 scale. Mm-hmm. So that looks kind of neat.
Yeah, I'm building an RPM kit right now.
Are you? What are you building?
I'm building the 1/72 Staghound. It is
okay.
A beast of a kit.
Is it a beast?
Not fun. It's not that fun. It's been very challenging.
Okay.
And I was just recently reading, because this kit's a number of years old, but there was an article in, I think it's Miniature Military Modeling Magazine, where Steve Zaloga, who is another famous author doing the reference books, does a build of this kit in the Polish and Italy markings of the Staghound.
Okay.
And he did a beautiful job on it. He sort of went to town on in 70-second scale. He had figures in it. He sort of corrected some issues with the barrel and the body, like the hull and stuff like that. But man, it's just not going together well for me. But hopefully this kit, this is new. Mm-hmm. Things are always improving.
Well, exactly.
Companies are always stepping up their game.
Yep. So there's that. Okay, moving along to Hobby Boss. They've got two announcements. One an aircraft, one a tank or a armored vehicle. And the first one is a 1/72 scale A4F Skyhawk.
Cool.
Which looks very nice. And the second one's kind of interesting. This is an LVKV 9040 anti-air vehicle, and it's actually a Swedish Army vehicle.
As I say, that's cool. Swedish.
Yeah, so Swedish. Now, it's going to be released soon. Now, what's interesting is, I just looked to one place because I went to HobbyLink Japan, looked it up, and there's I don't know if this is a price error, but $148.
I'm not surprised if it's a limited run and they've put in all the bells and whistles.
That's maybe it. We don't know a lot about it yet.
Something.
So, but again,
to expect.
That looks kind of cool when you look at it. If you look at the HobbyLink Japan link, there's there's some nice little so it looks like a nice little
$50 Canadian.
Yeah,
$148.86 Canadian.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
What's that drum on top? Is that just the
radar? I would think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it's an anti-aircraft vehicle.
Yeah.
So.
The TRS 2620 search radar and shooting control system.
Yeah. I would think it's that.
It's a neat subject.
It's a neat looking thing, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a December release?
That's a December release from our friends at Hobby Boss. So, okay, Dragon, one here that kind of stuck out, couple of announcements here. They have 3 different variants of the Striker, the M1128, M1134, and the M1296 coming out in 1/72 scale. And these are various, you've got one with the giant 105 millimeter gun. You've got the one that has some missiles in it, so anti-tank, guided, armed with two TOW-2 missiles. And then you also have, last but not least, the one with the 30 millimeter cannon on it in an unmanned turret. So it's armed with a 30 millimeter Bushmaster. So again, this is 70 seconds, so good size, good little size for wargaming too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and we actually build those here in Northern Ontario.
Yes.
General Dynamics.
It's called the Striker in the States.
It's called the Striker in the States. The Lab, it's called here. There's all different variants. So kind of neat. They also have for this month. They also had a couple of German ones, I believe. Yeah, they had the Bergpanzer, the 2-in-1 in 1/35th scale. So this is based on the Panzer IV chassis, but you can also build it as like a recovery vehicle with the crane.
Yes.
So you get both in that. So that's their newest 2-in-1, either the recovery vehicle or the Panzer IV. Normally the 2-in-1 is two very similar vehicle variants. This one's different. So
the hull's the same though, isn't it?
Hull's the same, but it's like all the other bits.
So you get the turret or the
or you can build the crane or whatever. And these things are it'll be good quality photo etch metal parts, including the side skirts, slide molding, etc. So that'll be a fun one. And I think the other one they had here, if I look back, they've got the 1/35th scale Panzer III at initial production. That's coming out, and then also.
Have we talked about that? The M4A3 Sherman that's coming.
Well, I was going to say that's a bit of a that's the new composite hull, and then there's also the the Sherman with the 105 millimeter howitzer tank. Do you notice the scale?
Oh,
yeah, it's rather big. 1/6.
1/6 scale. 2-in-1 kit. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a monster. They've released some other 1/6. I went to ScaleMates because I had to look it up. But they also, they've released other stuff for this
1/6.
Yeah, they have released a Panzer II. If you scroll down that page, if you go to that, you'll see they've also got a little Soviet, like a snowmobile. They built some flak stuff.
The Aero Sand.
Yeah, this scale is very popular with the RC crowd. Because it's roughly also the same scale as your, my wife would say Barbie scale, the Action Man scale, G.I. Joe scale.
I've seen that. People, they're all like, I don't mean doll as a a slight or a derogatory term, but kind of a hobby doll.
Yeah,
I've seen that. That stuff's huge in Japan too.
It's huge, because we were talking about a couple of podcasts ago. So they do have various items. They've got
these are going to be very pricey premium kits too.
Yeah, I think when I looked it up, I think I saw somewhere 450 £450. So we're getting close to 1,000.
Wow, for us, that's pretty zany.
Yeah.
It's not a hobby anymore if it's your rent money.
Actually, I should. You know what I should do? I should, while we're here.
Yes,
while we're here, I will have a quick search.
Okay.
I will search at our friends. Here we go. At our friends at HobbyLink Japan.
Okay.
We had that awesome 2-part interview with.
That was a lot of fun.
Let me see if I can find it here, because I'm just gonna do a quick. So here it is. Yeah, because Cyber Hobby did a Sherman one too. 553 Canadian.
For a 1/6 scale.
Yeah, this is the Sherman. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So this might be a repop, but it's yeah. So that's the kind of price you're paying.
You're probably going to spend $100 shipping that from wherever you live to wherever they sell it, or vice versa. Let's say.
Exactly. So, but you know what? You have no excuses for saying things are too small.
I can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I dropped the piece and I can't find it.
You have to worry about breaking your foot if a track falls on you.
Yeah. Well,
these aren't
a very
steel
interesting
ones.
thing.
Yeah. So I thought that was amusing. So anyway, all right, we'll move on. Edward. Lots of new releases. Edward, they just keep bringing it out and out and out. So they have some new releases for November as part of their. Have you heard of the Bunny Fighter Club?
Yes.
Okay, so it's their club where you can join. You get some special deals in that. So they released a few more as part of their Bunny Fighter Club. So a couple of Spitfires, a 109, a MiG-15. They've also got brand new in 48 scale. They've got a 109G -6 AS version, a very nice looking MiG-15 in 1/72 scale, and a Fokker DR1 in 1/48 scale. And so, yeah, all sorts of things. Oh, and if you want an F6 in 1/144th, they have that too. So those are kind of the stuff that's going on. Plus the inevitable over trees, photo etch.
So when they say over trees,
so over trees are like just the trees, just the spruce.
No package, no
no package, no decals,
manual.
no instructions. So, but it's very handy because a lot of people out there want to build extra variants. They have their own
or parts
decals.
Replacement. Yeah, this is a great idea.
Yeah, so they're not the only one to do it. I believe, was it Hasegawa? Someone in Japan does it, or in the Far East.
I have heard that, like Bondi, for example, you can go to Bondi and you can order up an individual sprue and pay sort of a nominal fee.
This is different. This is actually
a full kit.
They've created extra ones, so this is the full kit minus the decals, minus the.
So it's probably a cost savings.
I know who it was. It was the company from Poland that did the Hurricane.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they supplied some overtrees. They did some extras.
Yeah.
And then they offer them basically.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, again, if you want to do up a variant.
Yeah.
Or if you need replacements or your scratch.
Well, if you want to do that, like quite often it's for people who,
awesome idea.
They love the kit, but they don't need the 5 different variants of decals because they've already got their own decals.
Right.
Or they built it before, so it's actually a cool idea, and it's a good way.
It's a great idea.
It's a good way for these manufacturers because you tend to always do a few extra, anyway.
Hey,
just in case.
Sell more stuff. That's great for them.
Well, yeah, it's good for the hobby.
It's a good value for the consumer.
Okay, we had talked about this, I think, a couple of months ago. We were talking about big planes. So this here is Models SVT. They are actually working on the Mira. There's a release delay. So the Mira is the giant 6-engine Soviet heavy lift transport.
Okay.
Okay, this is the one that was used to transport their shuttle. They use it to transport, all sorts of things. I remember I don't know if we had this one, but we had something similar in London years ago when GM Diesel was around. They'd transport locomotives out.
Oh, right, because they're so heavy.
Heavy lift, very heavy lift. So this thing's a monster, okay? This thing's like a C5 on steroids. Mm-hmm. Well, they were planning to hopefully having it released by the end of the year, but now it's been postponed to the end of Q1. The kit is already in production, however. Manufacturing process of fiberglass parts, wings, fuselage, takes more time as far as it is handmade. Official retail price will be announced at the end of January, early February.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, these guys produce a lot of different cool things.
This is super neat. Something very different.
It's a monster, but just realize how big this thing's going to be.
Oh, in 72nd? Yeah. This thing would probably be very like a fun kit in 1-144.
It would be. It's big in 1-144.
It would be decent.
It's already big in 1-144, but this is going to be an absolute monster.
Cool.
So yeah, it'll be.
We'll look forward to hearing more about it.
Yep, and kudos for them for getting ahead of things and letting people know.
Yes.
Okay, then we've got from Mung. Also, we were talking about.
Yeah.
This I like because I like this car. This is a new tool, Ford GT40 in large scale, 1/12. Basically, nothing too official yet. They've basically announced it on several forums.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the GT40 Mark II with the markings for the #1 car from the 1966 Le Mans 24 Hours, as driven by Danny Hume and Ken Miles. That's going to be a nice kit. I've always loved that car. That car is absolutely gorgeous with the Golf Racing logo.
Somebody else released this kit.
Tamiya's done one a while ago, but I think theirs was 1/20th, smaller scale.
Okay, different scale.
Yeah, this is a big puppy. This is a very big kit, so I'm sure it's going to be very expensive, but they will probably do very, very well.
Yes, excellent.
Okay, then we move on with what's hot from Scalemates. Well, most of the stuff we've already been talking about. The P38. Oh, Tamiya's P38 Lightning. It finally made it to stores. It was officially released.
We just saw it, Wheels and Wings. Got it in.
Yep. So various places have it now. So I know people are snapping it up. Yep. There's a guy. I should have found the link. There's a guy on Facebook. He's decided to do a what if with it. He's bought 2 of them.
Wow, they're $100 a pop.
I know. So he's bought 2 of them, and you know how like they have like a twin Mustang.
Yes.
Okay, he's going to make a twin Lightning, 3 engines, 2 things, and then he's making a drone out of the extra engine.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. He's already well into it.
Oh,
it looks
that's
good.
That's how
cool.
it's done. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Good for that guy.
So good for him. I got to find that link and I'll shout out, and then I'll see if I can find him again.
That'd be cool. Let's feature that.
Yep. Rye Field Models Panzer IV, of course, Edouard's Mustang, the big B-17G.
I saw that. The box.
The box for that, yeah.
It's monstro.
Yeah, that's a big box. That was the one that was the Chattanooga Choo-Choo.
No, the B17,
the big 48 scale.
Yeah, the HK models.
Yep.
I was down at Broughdale, which is our local hobby shop.
Oh,
they
did
had that
you
box
get it in?
there.
Did you get it in? How much?
Oh,
do you remember? Big bucks,
I'm sure I didn't even look.
Yeah, no.
I'm coining a new term though. Monstro.
Monstro?
Okay,
you're
bigger
doing
than
that?
big.
All right.
Bigger than it needs to be.
Okay. Also, of course, the F-14D Super Tomcat from AVG. Our club president had that. He'd ordered it.
The D-type?
Yep, he ordered it and he had it in. I got some pictures on our club page. Very nice looking, and he got the weapon set as well.
Better than the Tamiya?
Different.
Crisper?
Different. I haven't opened my Tamiya. I've got the D from Tamiya. I haven't opened it.
Lucky dog.
The thing about this one is you can build it with like the leading edge slats, the flats
that's
open.
cool.
That's the big difference.
That's
people
sweet.
are saying.
You can't do that on the Tamiya.
No,
It's static.
not without
The
some
wings
work.
are...
Yeah, not without some work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. So yeah, everything else there is, like I said, we talked, again, the GT40, new tool there, ICM's B26 Invader, the Rye Field model Sturm Tiger RM61 with that massive 38 centimeter mortar. That'll spoil your day. I love this one from TACOM, the 1/4 ton utility truck they're calling it, because it's a Jeep. They just can't use the term. That's probably why. Yeah. Just saying.
A licensing.
Yeah. We were just talking about models VIT. They're coming out with the P41H model, P51H in 1/48 scale. We talked about that last time.
Cool.
You know what's interesting? It's the first time I've seen an Overtrees. The P51D Overtree, the Edouard 48 scale. So I wonder if it's the new tool, and again, they had extra ones. So, yeah. And of course, the Star Destroyer, the Lightning model. I would love that at some point. One day.
1 to 5,000. Oh,
yeah, with fully lit.
Pretty big.
lit. Yeah. They say it's about, I think I heard 17. Some people were complaining about the size. It's about 17
Like complaining
inches.
it's too big or too small? Really?
I think that's a good size. About 17 centimeters, they said.
That's pretty big. It's over a foot long.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Foot and a half.
But, again.
Cool.
Some people like them big. Some people like them small.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, just going through that. What else here? Anything else catches your eye? Oh, here's one. How about the MRAP radio set resin kit from Rye Field Models, 1/35 scale. That looks kind of neat. Interior.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for the MRAP.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, all sorts of goodies as always. So check those out from our good friends at ScaleMates.
The Superstar stars on there, the kit that you brought in.
Yep.
Very neat.
Oh, no, this is interesting. How about this one from... who's it from? AMP. Secret Project Victory 357 Hawk in 1/72 scale. It's a Russian, looks like it was Russian. I don't know if it was, I don't think they built this thing. Transport and landing operation ground effect vehicle. It's going to be released in 2020.
I'm looking for it.
Just do a search on Victory 357.
Oh, I see it.
I'm sure one of our...
Real?
No. It's got to be a prototype.
Or maybe it was like a paper.
What if?
That's Russian.
It's a what if.
Yeah, that is not a real thing. But that looks awesome.
That looks kind of cool,
Yeah.
Couldn't you see that in some sort of, sci-fi?
I bet you that was a
steampunk. It was
like a paper, maybe a drawing or something, or huh?
Cool.
Transport and landing operation ground effect vehicle. So it's like supposed to be a hover.
I don't know. This thing shows in the air, so
yeah.
I don't know, unless it's going over like a pretty thick, but that's like clouds to me, not a snowbank.
Yes.
So
it's kind of neat.
Yeah, kind of neat. We'll have to check that out. If any of our listeners know more about it, please feel free. Okay, we're going to move on with What's the Scoop? And this is also from Anthony on the Road.
Yeah,
what's the scoop, Anthony?
Because when I pitched the What's the Scoop section to Stuart, we sort of said, well, there's not going to be a scoop every time. but now we're batting 2 for 2.
Batting 2 for 2.
All right, so a lot of local listeners are people from Ontario and probably
Northeast U.S.
the States will have heard of thebarrelstore.com.
Mm-hmm.
So this was run by a fellow Londoner for many years. He's moved on to a different city now, Ed Kubiak,
Mm-hmm.
and he carried all these wonderful, it was obviously a lot of armor stuff like barrel replacements, photo etch,
aftermarket stuff. And if it was a mud
kits.
crawler and it had photo etch or aftermarket, he probably had it.
Lots of brass stuff.
Yeah.
So he was looking to sell the business, and it was up for sale for a couple of years, but just couldn't find any bites. He's found a new owner.
Good.
And the new owner is Jerry Billington from the Toronto area, and his wife. They have decided to take it on, and I know that Ed's going to act as a consultant. So
Awesome.
So there's your scoop. It's going to live on, and it's actually a really great shop. I have.
And it's online. With online,
It's an
and they've
online
ended all the
shop
major
with shipping.
shows.
Yeah.
I've ordered from them.
If you're if you hit a Toronto show, or in the area, Heritage Con in Hamilton, Ontario, they've often had tables up at these shows. London show, they were there, but for everyone else in the rest of the world, it's an online shop, and they have a ton of products. Like there's so much stuff,
Awesome.
and I know I've gotten a few really cool photo etch sheets, that kind of stuff.
And when you were there, you had a chance to. I gave you the recorder, and you had a chance to have a quick little. I set you loose, and you got yourself an interview with them.
Yes, we did get an interview, a quick one. I call them guerrilla style because they weren't super in depth, but we did have a chat with Jerry in that interview.
Cool. All right, and here it is now.
Okay, it's Anthony here with another guerrilla interview for the Scale Model Podcast. I am now at the Welcome 19 show, and I have with me here Jerry, the new owner of thebarrelstore.com. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you, Anthony.
How are you doing today?
Just fine.
How's the show been?
Good. Got to know quite a few more new people.
Right on.
Enjoying seeing what everyone's kind of interested in as far as modeling goes.
Yeah.
Trying to see if I should carry different things, what I should renew on kind of thing, and what I should expand into. And funny enough,
possibilities.
Lots of possibilities.
Yeah. So you just took over the business from another well-known modeler in the area.
Yep.
And this is your weekend gig now?
Well,
/ full-time endeavor.
yeah.
And I know you told me that your wife is involved.
Yeah, she's co-owner.
Co-owner. So she's put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this project as well?
Nearly as much as me.
Yeah, right on. Yes. Well, that's awesome. So what kind of stuff are you carrying at the Barrel Store right now?
Well, right now everything's 35th scale, resin, armor,
lots of
barrels, lots of brass,
tracks.
photo etch for anything you want, tracks, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Scenery. Like this way. Plus models carries details and like any type of thing you want to add to diorama, that kind of thing.
With me. Yep, awesome.
And
you carry a lot of decals too, I see.
decals, full conversion kits.
Awesome. There's a lot of good stuff here. I know I bought a lot of previously from Ed. I bought lots of photo etch sets.
But nothing today.
Oh, it's not over yet. So it's an awesome resource for any armor model. If you haven't heard of thebarrelstore.com, it's worth checking out. And is it primarily a mail order store?
Primarily, but anyone within the Toronto area. I live at
up.
Jane and Lawrence, so I've got an open door policy. You can just pop in and
There you go.
take out your order from there. I'm not going to charge any shipping, so.
Yeah, that's nice.
I hate shipping myself.
Yeah.
eBay is evil bay, so. Yeah.
Yes, we've all been trained to hate shipping.
My credit card loves eBay. Myself, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so for all the other international listeners of the podcast, if you are looking for some sweet aftermarket parts, the place to go is barrelstore.com. And you do ship worldwide? Or
We do.
Right on. So you can get these awesome items.
I sent 2 packages to Malaysia just yesterday.
There you go. Worldwide reach. The empire is growing. That's awesome. So, have you got anything done for the show?
In the show, no, I totally had no time to.
Yeah, it's been busy.
I was working on something pretty steady until something fell in my lap, and a buddy of mine needed some help, and I lost all motivation to finish it. So
yeah.
But I just bought myself a beautiful weathered tree.
Oh, man.
Which I'll be adding to my diorama that will be in shows soon. So
Yeah,
keep your eyes out for that.
That's going to be amazing. We did see these amazing trees from our buddy John Anthony, correct?
Yes.
They're
John,
awesome. Yeah. These trees are awesome.
They are.
I'm kind of tempted to get one, but I got
Made
nothing
with
right
a
now.
dowel,
Yeah.
some brass wire, and static grass and wood glue.
Yeah, they look terrific.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. TheBarrelStore.com. And I got to say, actually, I'm a big fan of Jerry's works, especially your
Has been for a while,
C1
yeah.
with a Nexus, and he's an awesome
Yeah,
builder.
Nexus won second place in the modern category at
Capcom.
Yes.
I think I gave you a shout
You know what?
out.
I actually
yeah.
got the medal for that.
Oh, good.
Sandy McCrory brought it to me.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome. Okay, so be sure to check it out, listeners. And that'll be a wrap for this Gorilla interview for the Scale Model Podcast. And it's Anthony Goodman signing off. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Jerry.
Thank you. Yeah, that's nice.
Thanks, man.
Well, that was a great interview, and it sounds like good positive things ahead for the Barrel Store.
Yeah, and we'll talk more with them, I think, when we have a chance to catch up with
Okay.
Jerry and his wife and chit-chat
Awesome.
about the business.
Now, speaking of positive things,
Yes.
Super Sanding Blocks, Goodman Models. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that is you.
Yeah, it's me.
So
yeah.
so what's interesting?
been
What's
cooking?
new? What's cooking?
Yeah, so I ended up vending at AirCADCon 8 in the morning.
Good.
So
And you had all your groupies show up, all your
Yeah.
fans. We have to come
Yeah.
up with a name like Julian's Jewels.
for sure something equally as
Maybe
grand.
the boys can come up with that.
Set them on it.
There we go.
See if they can come
He's
up
gonna
with
he's gonna kill me when we stop recording now, I'm sure.
Yeah, so we had a good time. I'm carrying on with my half price sale on my factory seconds.
Great deals there.
Yeah, lots of people are snapping those up. And it does
Awesome.
make a really good second set
It
for
does.
your
It
for a
does.
toolbox, your traveling toolbox. And boy, oh boy, I'm just waiting patiently for new stock to come in.
And that's right. We'll just continue doing that. I was actually, as I was saying to you before we recorded, I was speaking of, we were talking about 3D printing before. For getting the PVA, I was using my set the other night.
Excellent.
For something my wife had printed for her knitting stuff, and needed a nice level smooth surface, file it down a little bit, and it just beautiful.
Perfect. And were you holding it in your hand, or did you set it on the bench?
In this case, I set it on the bench and just
Yeah, kind
you
of
know, went
flattened out
across. But there's
something.
times I hold it in my hand. It
Yeah.
really varies. It's a unique tool, and I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
And not just because I'm sitting
you.
in his house and he's pointing a gun at me.
It's
No,
true.
I'm kidding about that. No,
But-
they are good.
I do like to hold it in my hand. I often run into people
Yep.
who kind
And
of
I
use
have.
it one way.
I have.
And then I sort of suggest,
Yep.
like, hey, why don't you try putting it on your bench and holding it flat?
Well, one of the
and kind
things
working
I've
your
done.
piece.
One of the things I've done sometimes, if I want to get let's say I'm trying to make something slightly thinner, like the edge of a wing or something.
Oh yeah.
I will hold the wing at an angle, and
Yes.
then
You-
or hold
you
this
work
block at
the-
an angle.
You work the wing against the block and not
at
the
an
block
angle.
against the
Exactly.
piece. Yeah.
And just gently do that while I'm holding it in my
That's
hand.
exactly how when I'm thinning a part down, and I've done the trailing wings of
Yes.
edge of wings.
Yeah, that's what I
especially
mean.
my Valkyrie
On
project.
the inside, yeah, exactly.
There's always that. They're never the
Little bit,
right thickness,
yeah.
right?
And you just gently, but sometimes you need them just at a slight angle.
Yeah.
Or if I'm just trying to do something else, like I was actually using one again on another part of this component, and just enough to get an angle because it had the right stiffness. See,
Yeah.
that's what's nice too, is because of the more coarser grits, you've got that stiffness to cut through the tougher PVA,
Yes.
which you typically find over plastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked great.
Excellent. That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, really pleased to see that. So
Yeah. So I know there are still there are some sets available at Forbes Hobbies in Cambridge for
Okay.
an excellent price.
awesome.
I know he's got a couple, and you can get them and the singles at Wheels and Wings in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be there with a couple of our mates to check out the painting masterclass.
Yeah, that's
with,
gonna be
with
fun.
Dave Brown painting
That's gonna be
Shermans.
fun, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. But I was just checking in with them. They have plenty in stock if you're looking for them, and of course at FlexiFile and Alpha Abrasives, they have them in stock. The
Awesome.
singles and the value pack
value
sets.
packs
And if
as
you
well.
want a deal, because everyone loves a great deal,
Who doesn't love a great deal?
I'm having the big sale, half price sale on the factory seconds at goodmanmodels.com.
Which, they're just little minor chips in that. It doesn't
Yeah.
really. It's just more that they're not up to.
They're not perfect.
They're not perfect.
Yeah.
If they're not perfect for Anthony, then they're not perfect.
That's correct.
All right.
sir.
Okay. So now we're going to move on. Actually, let's you were just mentioning Forbes Hobby. Let's just talk about that first, because that's who else you ran into when you were on the road.
So, and I had the chance to go to Forbes Hobbies with my buddies Will, Murray, and Steve. We did AirCAD-Con in the morning. I did my table. I put my Aliens car on the table. Turned the light on for people. Sold a few blocks. We left at lunch, and we drove down to the Welcome 19 show, which is like the Guelph area's club show. And anyway, AirCAD-Con is now being run by Jeremy Cotta.
Okay.
And he is the proprietor of Forbes Hobbies.
Okay.
And I know there was a Forbes senior at one point, and then Jeremy, when that fellow retired, Jeremy bought the store.
He took it over.
And after we were done at Welcome, we drove down to his shop. And I had never been there.
I hear very good things. I know he has many paint racks. I've seen pictures of it.
So Jeremy's shop is awesome.
Right.
And our buddy Will, who's from Cambridge, that's his like home shop.
Oh, okay.
So he's like,
Perfect.
Yeah, I come here all the time. I'm like, I've never been.
Yeah.
You gotta take me.
All right.
So we went, and I know they host a lot of gaming nights.
Yes,
like
they're also big into the
tournaments.
gaming. Yep.
But it was an awesome shop. They did have half the store's paint racks. It was beautiful. So
For
I ended
all
up
the mini
buying
guys, Games Workshop guys, and all that. Yeah.
Yes, they were carrying all the Model Master. They had all the AK stuff, all the Vallejo. There were so many brands. I can't recall them all.
That's cool.
So I ended up getting some AK thinner, odorless thinner, and like a NATO vehicles
I'll be
range
interested.
streaks.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you think of that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't tried their odorless. I've got their pencils, which I love.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see, especially because of the fact that it's odorless. Because again, I don't normally work with the oil-based stuff.
That stuff is basically white mineral spirits, which has a very strong smell.
Yeah.
Well, they knock you out. And then the odorless thinners are kind of like what artists use for their oil paints. So I have like Winsor Newton, and it's running low, and I thought, well, I'll try the AK one.
Just see what it's like.
It should be the same.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see your response to that.
Yeah, so we had a great time, and Jeremy's a super guy, and he is an awesome modeler. His stuff is mind-blowing.
Okay.
He knows what he's doing, and the shop is great, and good for him for taking on running the show, because I know that they had some people before running it, and that they just couldn't keep up.
It's
and
running a show is a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
I've done it, and I know what that's like. I've been on the show committees. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, so he was quite busy, but I was able to steal him away. I had to yell at him from across the room. Get over here.
That's normal. That's either that or we have to sneak up, or else they go running.
You gotta like jump onto them.
Yeah, you do. So you got another great interview with him.
Another Gorilla interview there.
Okay, let's hear that now.
Okay, it's Anthony Goodman here at AirCAD-Con number 8, right in the middle of the throws. I'm just doing a quick interview here with Jeremy Cotta from Forbes Hobbies, who has also taken over running the show. So we're going to do a quick short interview, see what's going on. So how are you doing today?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm great. I'm having a good time. I'm vending. I got a few blocks out on the way, and it's a little bit quieter, as we discussed on the last episode, because there's another show happening in the area, unfortunately. So I think I made my thoughts fairly clear about bad planning doesn't help anyone in the community. So how's the show been to put together so far?
So the show itself hasn't been that bad. It's I work with the cadets, so we don't it's not my show. It's the cadet show, but we volunteer and support them.
Yeah.
So over the past year, we've not had a problem getting the show together. Last year's show, we had some issues. We had a fallen-in ceiling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the back corner, the whole place. So last year was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, it's changed considerably to the point where I don't even have my 4 tables here. I have a car full of product that's going to sit in the car.
Oh, that's too bad. But there's a lot to run on it when you're running a show. So
well, that's the whole thing. My job's to run it.
Yeah.
So I don't have anybody here to vend for me.
Yep.
So, but our show itself, if you look at the turnout so far, we've had a high volume of traffic come through.
Okay, good.
So people are coming here as well as hitting the other show.
Yeah, I think that's a common thing, is they're going to try and do because they're so close together.
Yep. Well, the whole thing is as a collector and a purveyor of fine plastics,
yes,
you want to get out to as many swap meets as possible to acquire things.
Yeah.
This year I've pledged that I will not buy anything till I build something.
Nice.
So I've refrained from doing that.
I'm raising my fist in the air because that's a good mantra to have, right? So we don't get too overwhelmed.
It is crazy. Like, you look around at every plastic modeler, you look at their stash, and it is a testament to their devotion to their hobby.
Yep, the passion's there.
Yep. So now it's just a matter of turning that passion into something physical.
Yeah, channeling it into the finish. I finished the kit.
I was surprised to see that when it was on the table. I did not think that you were a builder.
I'm a crazy builder.
I'm like, this guy's a businessman. He doesn't have time to build kits.
You know, I'm a plumber in my day job, so this is just a side gig.
Yep.
This is so I could buy more plastic kits, but it never works out that way.
So,
Marco?
Yeah, he's swinging by.
Yep. Well, that's what you get in a gorilla interview, guys.
Just everybody wants to swing up and shake hands, right?
Yeah. I'm really into building and less into buying.
Yep.
I'm also not buying a lot of kits. I do buy a lot of supplies, and we will be heading up to Forbes to get some stuff. And my stash is actually relatively small, but still a lifetime's worth of plastic to build. Especially when I'm taking 6 months to crank out one kit.
That's always the joke. Right now, I've collected wing nuts, so I'm at about 20 different kits.
Nice.
At a 6-month build time.
Oh.
That's 10 years of building.
It's math.
Just on wing nuts.
Not in your favor.
It's not.
Maybe you'll get faster as you grow.
You know what? It could be one of those things. As you become more proficient, you're like, okay, but...
It's true.
It is. You're surrounded by peaches all the time. A friend of mine goes, you've got all the finest things sitting around you to build.
Yes.
How do you choose?
It's a lot of fun.
So usually we flip a quarter.
There you go. That's good. Yeah, that's nice. I try and mix it up, like one genre to the next kind of thing, so I don't get too much tanks, too much planes, too much robots.
As a commission builder, I get the luxury of building the other things. Like right now, my bench has got probably about 7 different projects on the go.
Right on.
All for different clients, from anywhere from like Dungeons and Dragons minis to be painted up.
Okay, excellent.
To full-size galleon ships.
You're a man of many talents.
So
that's
the
awesome.
joys.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, any parting words?
Guys, go out and enjoy as many shows a year as you can.
Awesome.
Get to them all and buy. Grab as much plastic as you can get your hands on.
And throw your kits on the table. It looks better when they're full. That's
true.
Maybe that was my opinion. But
actually, you know what? Our tables are actually... They're filling up.
Yeah, they are. Looks great.
It's not even lunchtime yet, so I'm thinking by the time judging comes, we will have a full house.
Yep, it's good. They are filling up, and it's very encouraging to see that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And even if you're not a world-class builder, bring your kits out. Put them on
just
display.
To chat them up with people. People love to see stuff, right?
It motivates somebody.
Yeah, it's always inspirational for sure. So, all right. Well, thanks a lot, Jeremy Cotta, Forbes Hobbies, AirCAD Con. Thanks for speaking with me for the Scale Model podcast, and we'll see you later.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That was great. Awesome interview with Jeremy. So that's cool. So two little interviews on this show so far. Okay, another thing that kind of made the rounds this week. There was a press release supposedly from testers in the U.S. And this press release was saying how, it was kind of complicated, but it basically was saying that they weren't going to be producing testers, paint, model masters, all this. Order now while you can.
Not true.
No, kind of a bit of fake news there. Yeah. So now, and I'm trying to find the original link to it now. But yeah, basically it was, and then of course that made through Facebook, that just went gangbusters, right?
Yeah.
As we know. So basically, no, what it is, and a lot of people reached out to testers.
Yes.
And there was an official announcement, official release. Basically they were saying, like they've spoken to people like our good friends at Wheels and Wings again. They were reaching out. And they said no one seemed to know about the major hobby distributors in Canada and stuff like that. So there was eventually an official release saying, basically, this is the statement, and I quote, Rust-Oleum, who owns Testers, is no longer selling the Testers brand internationally through distributors, but continues sales and distribution in the U.S. and Canada without interruption.
Yeah.
So what that's basically saying is for anyone not in North America using Testers project, your distributors over there, they're deciding not to go overseas anymore.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of costs involved.
Oh, I'm sure there is. It's very similar to why there's certain, I'm sure, Japanese or European brands that are
Yeah,
difficult.
sometimes it's hard to get that stuff over
That are
here,
difficult,
and it's not worth their
difficult to
while.
bring here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this really made the rounds. Like it was.
Yeah.
I watched this kind of go on. I think it was on Thursday.
Now, a couple years ago, they actually did discontinue certain subsets of their product lines,
Yeah,
and then
like
people were like,
Aztec
"Oh,
and
they're
stuff like
over."
that, yeah.
Like I remember in the Model Master series, there was a specific range of paints called them
Mm-hmm.
military miniatures, but it was only like, I want to say it was 20 or so colors, and I think there was a figure, like specific figure color line,
Yeah.
and again, I think I had a handful of them. It was a subset. It wasn't their sort of main catalog of colors.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they weren't hot sellers. They did discontinue those, but they're still producing their main catalog. But people sort of elaborated that, extended it to mean like, they're going on there. Not
Well,
really.
and this is what brought the topic up, because I
Yeah.
got to thinking, like, if you're in North America, particularly of a certain age, Testors was your go-to.
Oh, that
brand.
was it. Yeah.
Same thing that those of us who either grew up in England or knew people in England, it was Humbrol.
Yes.
Those little Humbrol tinlets,
Yeah.
and I don't know if there was an equivalent in Japan, but
It's got to be the Mr. Color or maybe because that's been around forever.
Testors has been through a lot over the years. I used them growing up. I don't use them much now. I know a lot of people
here.
out there that swear by them.
Yeah.
Particularly the Model Masters.
I'm sure
The
they can
Model
get them to
Masters, again, they are an enamel, so I don't use them. Okay, I've
Right.
had them over the years.
Yeah.
They had some acrylic Model Masters in terms of back when it was just the only other game in town was Tamiya and Humbrol. For US based, every hobby shop carried them.
Oh, yeah.
Huge range of color stuff
Model
like that.
Master's sort of iconic, right?
It was, and it was, I shouldn't say was, but the thing is,
They're
Testors,
still sold today.
yeah, Testors has been bought by a company that does not really in the hobby space,
Yeah.
and they have been cutting back. So I think it's kind of interesting, and we can kind of say the same thing about Humbrol. Like Humbrol's been bought by Hornby, who also bought Airfix. We really haven't seen that much in new revolutionary product coming out. And I think we're seeing that both in Europe and in the Far East, and even in some brands in the States. Look how many different paint lines are out now.
Oh,
Those
there's
acrylic enamels,
so many.
and I think the big question is, there's a lot of people who are like, you saw the comments on Facebook. There was a lot of people who were, I won't say panicking, but there was a lot of comments like, oh, the hobby's dying. Like, yet again, we've got this. And I think it's a real generational thing.
Yeah.
And again, I don't use Model Master for a specific reason, but I also found over the years, I found the Tamiya, the Mr. Color, I found for me it airbrushes easier. Now, that's for me. There's other people out there. I talked to someone who was in the business, and Testors, especially for car folks, they still sell a ton of rattle paints.
Yeah.
And I know
that's the
to
go-to.
me is kind of the same thing in Japan. People don't have airbrushes.
Yeah.
Right?
They
Car
have a
guys.
huge range of
Huge range of those
cans.
colors. But again, I think we're seeing, and again, this is my own personal opinion, so please put the pitchforks and torches down. I really think it's more of a generational
Yeah,
thing.
well, it's kind of like what you're used to. Like,
Yeah.
it's sort of a daunting thing to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I gotta.
So like a
switch
brand
paint
new
lines.
modeler coming in, someone who's for the first time.
You just pick what's available at your store.
I'm going to say, if someone asks me, I'm going to say, Tamiya or Vallejo. Because
Yeah.
that's, and they're easier to work with. Again, they're not the oil-based, which I think
Yeah.
also is a factor.
Because when I was a kid, I had those glass testers.
Oh, yeah, I
jars,
still
and
have a
then
couple.
When I moved up,
Yeah.
I've got air quotes going on here.
Yeah, he's got
I
air
started
quotes
buying
going.
the Model Masters,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And they seemed so much better. And they had a huge
they
range
had some
of
great,
colors.
great colors.
Yeah.
I just always found it, again, just like some people have problems spraying other stuff, I never like spraying it.
Interesting. I didn't have any. You know what? That's not true. I did have some issues, but I wonder
Yeah.
because the
But
paint.
I know
had
other-
really old bottles.
I know other people use it and they still swear by it, and
Yeah.
more power to it. But you also have to realize that, there may be a point where these companies, how have they innovated lately? Like, really? I know there was some rumors in England, and I'd love to see it. Humbrol was planning to look at some acrylics.
Oh yeah.
They've done it before.
Yeah.
But they were planning the old one sucked. It literally sucked.
They didn't work. Yeah.
Same thing. The one product I could not recommend is use Humbrol flat coat. Everyone I know who's ever tried it,
Yeah.
it's a disaster.
Uh-oh.
But again, under new ownership, maybe something will happen. I've got a little bit more hope of Humbrol than I do, unfortunately, for Testors.
Yeah.
Just based on what people have said about Rust-Oleum over the years. Again, who knows? But I'm just, part of the thing is you got to watch the fake news.
Yeah,
And
always.
this really doesn't come as a surprise. I don't really know anyone overseas anyway who uses testers, so this doesn't surprise me
Yeah.
at all.
It's definitely seemed to be like a Canadian North American
thing,
sort
yeah.
of brand, right?
Yeah.
And definitely in my childhood and youth,
Yeah.
that was what you could get. And then when I returned back to the hobby, all I could seem to get was Tamiya.
Yeah.
And which is fine because they worked really well and they have a huge, ever expanding paint line. But interestingly now, it's like you've got this. People need paint, right? If you're going to do this hobby, you're going to need some paint. And there's a lot of new players. So
There's a
all
lot of
existing
variety.
in that space,
Exactly.
pulling people away. So it's gotten, I think, fairly competitive.
Yep.
And it's been awesome for the modeler because you have, color sets, different effects, different, the metal effect
and I
colors.
look at how many different paint lines, and then look at all the different paint lines Tamiya's doing, both lacquer and acrylic.
Trying to get away from the stinkier paints, right? Or
Like I
trying
know,
to-
like
trying to
it
get to
says
the-
here, the only products that have been discontinued by testers are the Aztec airbrushes, the international and military enamels, and the custom lacquer system.
Yeah.
Those are all that are pretty.
If they weren't
heavy-duty.
selling, why would they make them, right?
And that's what it comes down to. And there's you hear all sorts of rumors and all sorts of things like that. They're Aztec airbrushes. People either love them or hate them. They were plastic. I know, but some people I know they loved as long as they kept it clean. I never
Interesting.
liked it. No,
Yeah.
I agree, but
I'm pretty sure the lacquer thinner I use to clean my brush would melt one of those little
that's
things.
the only exactly. But I know a lot of people love it, and I know a lot of people, for example, still swear by their dull.
Yeah.
The actual tester's
hey, if it
dull
works
coat.
for you, then-
You've got a bottle up there. I've got a bottle.
I never use it, but I have it.
But I'm just saying it's certainly there. They've
I'll have to
built.
play with it.
They've had kits over the years. Again, it's
They
a
did
very
do a
much,
line of kits, testers. Yeah.
they did. They've really moved into a lot of the craft space testers. So they do a lot of they have
Good for them.
like for the stuff you'd find at Michael's
So
and stuff
there
like
is
that.
innovation, right? But just
There
not
is,
not
but-
for the sort of scale
Yeah.
model.
So the
world,
other
right?
thing, for example, testers, they bought Pactra years and years ago.
And that's like a craft paint.
That
like
was a
fabric
model paint years ago. A lot of some of the
model paint.
it was a model paint way back, and they brought it back, but the original stuff's long gone.
Like 80s, 70s,
Oh,
80s.
60s and 70s, yeah.
Do you remember Poly S?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
that went
Similar
away.
sort of thing. So it'll be
Polyscale.
interesting to see. And again, I'd love to get input on this. But are you finding that, is there a case of, or have people thought about what happens if my old paint brand, and these are,
Oh yeah.
let's not fool it. Now, Tamiya's pretty old. Like
Yeah.
now,
At
Tamiya's
least
old.
the early 80s.
Right. Now, I don't know if it
around.
was in Japan before that, but I know I didn't see it in North America until the 80s.
Yeah, it might have been 70s.
But
maybe.
and then you look at like Mr. Color, they're now reintroducing a new water based.
But they definitely had one.
They
right?
had one.
There's all
Awesome
the old
colors.
ones. The aqueous
Yep,
line.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see. And
Yeah.
again, you go to Europe, and how many different types of paint are there now?
Oh man, there's so many. Like,
Different systems and that. And again, I just, I respect for what Testers has done and all that, but
Oh, yeah.
again, this really shouldn't surprise anyone. So the important thing is, for where most of the market is, which is North America, they're still going to be available.
Yes.
How many different paints, what the line's going to be like, is a bit of a question mark.
It is I sort of know it to be a fairly comprehensive catalog. Of
Well, the
colors.
Model Masters is, but I've also
Model
been
Master,
to
not
I've also been to
Testers.
some stores where they're really debating getting rid of their racks.
Yeah.
Because they're having trouble getting some of it, more and more, because they have dropped some of the.
And I've heard that about Mr. Color, for example, that they ditched Mr. Color. It's too hard to get because
The shipping
the
thing and the
rules
oil base.
about-
Where again,
yeah,
this is where I think your
So it
acrylic
kinda
line.
depends.
Now they are trying to get more into the acrylic paint, but you just don't see the broad range, because I think it's because they know, if I'm Testers and I see there's a lot of other companies out there already producing it, and some other new players. Is that the market you go into, or do you
no, they
strictly
have to
stick to
make-
the crafts?
they have to make sort of business informed decisions, right?
Yeah.
About
Like we all
what they're gonna
remember
do.
the little testers thing. You got your 8 bottles of paint, the 2
Oh,
white
yeah.
brushes.
Oh, they're terrible.
But yeah, back then. But when you were a kid, that's
But
what-
that was the thing you had when you were a kid, right?
right.
So,
So that's what's different. So a company has to change with the time. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, be careful when you see stuff like this on the internet.
Oh,
Watch
yeah.
out for the fake
Yeah.
news. All right. Enough of that. Okay, moving on. Talking tools.
Talking tools.
This is your talking tool this time.
Absolutely.
You got some, what is it, micro mesh?
Micro mesh.
Alpha Abrasives.
Yeah, well, this is FlexiFile.
Yeah.
The FlexiFile, I think, is the tool line, and then Alpha Abrasives is all their sort of sanding products. But
exactly.
man, this tool revolutionized my model building.
It rocked your world?
Oh, big time. So
All
there are
right.
these sheets, right? And they're... let me just get them in the right order here. So they start... they are basically flexible sheets for sanding. They start at 2,400.
Wow.
And it goes up 3,200. I think I have a 3,600.
So very,
4,000,
very
6,000,
fine grain.
8,000, and then 12,000. So just to put it...
Which is like a diaper.
yeah, they are very... You wonder... Now, these are really worn out,
Yeah.
my set. But this is a great set.
Okay.
We'll have to slap the link in there. And they're still available. And they've been around for a long time. But when you get to this... like, for example, if you're using the super sanding blocks... and they go up to 600. And you can sort of shine, when you're wet sanding, you can shine plastic up. This is more like when you get into, I use these a lot on like airplane canopies.
Okay.
So you have a seam line or something unfortunate like that, and you sort of clean it up, and then you really need to make it shine like glass, right? You
Okay.
polish them, you wet polish with these cloths. And it's just an incredible finish you can get. And even, here's another classic sort of Larry Watson technique. So one of the sort of experienced
Larry's
guys
a longtime member of our club.
from the London IPMS.
Yep.
He was talking about, laying down a primer coat and then taking one of the sheets and just sort of gently just going over it just to knock down any bumps. And then he'd also clean out the panel lines with another tool that I'm sure we'll talk about in another episode of Talking Tools. But then he would apply the next coat, the color coat. And then again, he would take the polishing cloth and just go over it just to get that smooth, consistent finish. He would use it like that. And it's an awesome set to have. You really got to have it. And it's a really good complementary set with the super sanding blocks.
Right.
So then you can really polish stuff up, and certainly on glass, airplane canopies, so good to have.
So we'll have to find the link for that on the
Yes.
Alpha Abrasive sites. We'll look for that.
And we'll pop it in.
Yep, and we'll do that. So yeah, that's this week's talking tool. Okay, what's on the bench?
What do you
I finally got that Toon King Tiger done.
Nice.
Big achievement.
Excellent.
It's just been
First kit of calendar year?
No, I think the second. But
No,
just
because you finished the Battlestar.
I did finish the Battlestar. So, but yeah, just life has been very, very busy. It's been
Yes.
tough, and it's been nice to get that.
And we must take every win.
Yep, and I also want to give you a shout out because you've been really doing more than half the work for getting guests and stuff like that in the show, and
My pleasure.
I really appreciate that because it does take two for a show like this, and you've really been doing that. So
You're welcome, Stuart.
I'm going to return back to that Edouard Spitfire. Beautiful jewel of a kit. Just going to get into the point where I'm going to do the masking.
Wonderful.
I've got a masking sets and all that, so there shouldn't be much swearing.
And you were telling me earlier that you've got quite a bit of progress done on this kit. So
Yeah. So it's just I'm to the point now where like the landing gear needs to be put together. I'm building it with an open cockpit and an open cockpit door, so I just need to gently. I use little bits of Kleenex I put inside and then tape over it, so as like a mask.
Yep.
Because I can't put the cockpit canopy on because the canopy is going to be open.
Yes.
So I've done that. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and then we'll see what's going to be next. Probably a sci-fi thing.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
You've caught the bug.
Got a couple of. Well, I got that huge Super Star Destroyer. That might be a nice quick one.
Yes. Looks like a nice little.
Yeah,
fun
I've got
kit.
the Hawk from Space 1999. So yeah, there's all sorts. All right, and how about you, my friend?
Well, I'm diving into the Moosroo Cup Challenge now.
There you go.
I've
The
got
lads
two
will
sort
be
of
happy.
two
We
things.
got some ideas for that. We got some fun ideas.
We
for
do, yeah. And I gotta say that kit's just a dog. I did pull it out the other night. I finished my Aliens APC.
that. Okay.
It's done. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I'll enter it into the next shows, the next series of shows that we do.
And you got some good feedback.
I didn't enter it because we were jumping from show to show, but I put it out on display and I got lots of attention. People really seemed to like it. The lights were a big hit. The little guy inside, and here's a funny story. I actually bought that kit at Heritage Con. in 2019 from a lady who was selling her deceased husband's sort of collection of stuff, and she was very nice, and it was sort of an impulse buy, like I was mentioning, and I saw her again at the Wellcom show.
Oh yeah.
And I showed it to her, and she got a really big kick out of it.
Awesome.
She really kind of enjoyed it, and so it's kind of neat to sort of a neat ending to that little story. So so it's kind of sad that she's selling off the stuff, but what is she going to do with it, right?
But and that's the thing we all.
I think she's happy to see it kind of fall into somebody's hands who kind of enjoyed it and built it up. So I'm also have another project on the go that's going to be fairly involved.
Okay.
And we're going to make into a series for the podcast.
Awesome.
And so stay tuned. I'm in the planning stages of this guy because I gotta make some notes, and we're gonna get Stuart involved to do. It's going to be going to be a bit of a resin kit tutorial as well as a build.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice series.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. So stay tuned for that. Look out for that. And I think that's going to be Patreon exclusive for a while until it's done.
Yep, another support thing for our Patreon. So that's going to be fun.
And I still have to wrap up my my Malaysian M113.
Haven't you done that yet?
I haven't touched it. I did.
Dude.
I stopped when I ran into a problem. I stopped and I focused on the APC.
It does happen.
I'm kind of a one-trick modeler. I can't do multiple things.
I'm kind of the same. I've discovered too.
It's just better if I just stay focused and work away on one thing, try and overcome my
hats
problems.
are off to those people that can do 5 or 6.
I can't. It's too much. It gets crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I get left off. So
that's good. And we should also point out that when you went to the 2 shows, you didn't buy a thing.
I didn't.
At the shows, you were very good.
I'm
impressed.
Thanks. It's what
tough.
it's
tough sometimes.
It just gets too crazy.
I know sometimes it does. You just unless you see something you like, and
even then, I see stuff I like all the time, but I always think back wow, I have.
It's that it's that whole money thing.
It's that too.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah,
we need to be
I did pick up a couple things that mentioned that.
Yeah, you said you picked up some stuff, and that's the stuff I tend to get now.
So I tend to, if I'm at shows, I'm looking for like an accessory, something to help me with my projects I have.
It's funny because it's funny because I recently sold about 6 or 7 kits.
Good for you.
Just stuff that I knew I wasn't going to be working on, and did quite well. I'm looking forward to. I sold my Airfix 148 scale TSR2.
Yeah.
And I sold it to Blappy Gurdon.
Yes.
And it's got all the goodies inside, and he's looking forward to that, doing a what if.
Nice.
So I got the what if decals, and he's looking forward to that.
There you go.
And I know he'll do a good job on that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that'll be kind of fun. So yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this episode. So as always, don't forget to subscribe. Let us know if you have any comments, suggestions. We should also say corrections to scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. We do record bi-weekly, and it's available where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or you can also get it on our website, scalemodelpodcast.com. That's where we have the show notes.
Right.
We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/scalemodelpodcast. There's also a Patreon page at patreon.com/scalemodelpodcast. And in addition, if you still haven't got enough of hobby podcasting, if we haven't completely sickened you and driven you off, then we thoroughly recommend our good friends in Australia.
Yes.
At On the Bench. OTB. And they basically publish off weeks that we do.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun with that, and we're looking forward to Dave coming up. I'm still trying to get that organized.
Yeah.
We're hopefully going to have something special happening at the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum.
Yes.
A live show and some guests. And
the Moosearoo Cup Challenge will be done for that.
It will be done for that.
Mark
there you
my
go.
words. I'm going to hit the table.
Dave, Ian, and Julian, you've heard it.
It will happen.
You've heard it here. So he is totally responsible for that. And again, as I also mentioned the other previous podcast from the Scale Model Shed, as I try and look it up and find it again.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, no, the boys, they're very good modelers.
Yeah.
All their work, they all have YouTube channels.
I've gotten so many wicked tips just from tuning into
YouTube
On the Bench and
yeah.
But you know what? Specifically podcasts, if you want to get past that 3 kits a year, watching TV and that's just
audio,
it's kind of a
YouTube
hamper.
gets distracting.
Or YouTube,
Yeah,
like
I
you just
I
get
prefer
lost.
listening to something. Yeah.
Yeah, you get lost down the rabbit
Exactly.
hole, and then you don't get your work done that you wanted to. It's
All
a
right.
great thing to do.
All right, we don't want to get down the rabbit hole because it's late. It's late for us.
It's bedtime.
It's bedtime on a Sunday night. We know both of us got to go to work because neither of us are kept man.
Yeah.
Now, again, if there's a millionaire out there that wants to support the podcast,
Okay.
let us know. All right, so my name is Stuart Clark.
This is Anthony Goodman.
Thank you and be well.